All right, so let me repeat again. No homework this Wednesday. The only homework you have to do this coming Wednesday is your correction for your test. The test is resent to you via email. Please print the test out. Do not write it out on paper. Print the test out. Make sure you have your name on your test, and I only give you 1 point if you get it right. If you get it wrong or partial wrong or whatever it is, you get 0 points. And I do want to see work. And then upload it to D2L. So once you finish it, scan it, upload to D2L. It is posted in D2L. So there should be 11 questions, and that means you can earn up to 11 points. So these 11 points will boost up your grade. Okay. Some students who already reached really high points, like let's say they got out of 60, you get 55. So if you do the corrections, you won't get the 11 points, because when you put 11 points, you are over 100. So you will get the 5 points. So that means that your maximum test score will be 100%. So those students who are got less than 11 points correct, you will actually able to move it to 100. 100 is the highest I can give to you. That means I cannot give you more than 100%. So so those, I got a few students that got really high scores in the test. So the highest score you can get here is 100%. So if you do the correction, I cannot give you all 11 points if you reach to the maximum 100%. You guys clear with that one? Anyone have any questions with the corrections of the test? Is the maximum because it's 11 points, not 11. Adam, sorry, yeah, it's 11 points. It's not 11%. Actually, 11 points is more than 11%. Okay, because 1 point in your test is around like 1.6%. So actually, it's more than 11%. So that's why make sure you do the correction. So so that 11 points is actually a pretty good deal. Not 1%. It's 11. It's 1 point. Anyone have any questions regarding with the corrections for your test? And you have to do all 11 questions. If you get it right, that's good. That means you automatically earn that 1 point back. Okay. Anyone have any questions for me before we start with the new section here? So next one we're going to talk about here is 7.4. So as I mentioned early on, that when you do chapter 7, so your next test will be 7.4, 7.5, and the chapter 8 material. A lot of students ask me is, do you still need to use your the Pythagorean or your quotient identity, or this fundamental trig identity? The answer is yes, you are able to use this, but you have to use this. But again, I'm not provided in your test, so make sure you know how to do this. And also your unit circle, you have to also need to know how to use your unit circle, the circle, the one that I provide in test. However, the unit circle will not be provided, so you cannot use that anymore in your second test and your finals. So I just want to point out to you that the next test, there will be formula given to you, and that formula is actually 7.5. So if you look at 7.5 sections, there is 1 page of formulas. And this one whole page of formula will be provided in your test. Okay. So in 7.5, there is a lot of identities here. So make sure you do not need to memorize this because it's given in your test. But however, the fundamental one, you have to know that. Okay. And including the 7.4. So 7.4 is a new formulas. So 7.4, you got 3 formulas here. We call it as sum and difference formulas. So when we use this sum and difference formula is we will be using this when you have to add or subtract 2 angles. So when you have 2 angles like this, 2 angles, you want to add or subtract them. So you can use that if you have question looks something similar to number 1. However, question 2, you cannot use the sum and difference formula. Do you guys see the difference between question 1 and question 2? Yep. Colin, you'll be fine. Yep. I'm recording this, so watch it. So my question to you is, do you see the difference between question 1 and question 2? So make sure you guys see the difference. So you can only do these formulas if your angles is inside the parentheses before the sine and cosine or tangent or cosecant or secant cotangent. But if you have addition like this, where you got separate this into 2 cosine or 2 sine something, there are no formulas. So no formulas to do this. So I showed you how to do that. So make sure that again, the unit circle that you guys have is also very important, and it will not, I won't provide that in the test anymore. So you actually have to make one if you need to. So what is the sum and difference formula says? If you have sum u plus v, this formula says is sine u cos v plus cos u sine v. So in this case that sine will become sine cos, and then you switch around cos sine. If you have addition, then you become addition. If you have subtraction, that means you have u minus v, then you take sine u cosine v minus cos u sine v. So this is the sum and difference of sine. In order for you to do cosecant, which is the reciprocal of sine, what you need to do is you find this value, the sine value first, and then once you finish finding the sine value, you just flip-flop your cosecant. Okay. So if you want to find the cosecant u plus v in this case, what you need to do here is you just need to figure out 1 over sine u plus v. So you just need to find the u plus v first, and then after that you put 1 over it. For cosine is a special one. So cosine u plus v is cosine u cosine v minus sine u sine v, and then so in cosine, you just do cos, and then sine. If you have a plus, then this middle one is a minus. And if you have a -1, then the middle sign will be plus. So what happens to cosine? The sign actually switch around. Okay. For tangent, and same thing happens secant. If you're going to find secant u plus v, you do the cosine first, and then after that you flip-flop it. Tangent u plus v is tangent u plus tangent v over by 1 minus tan u tan v. Or for minus tan u minus tan v is tan u minus tan v, 1 plus tan u tan v. So what happens to tangent is if it's a plus and minus, the top sign will have a plus and minus, but the bottom sign, the sign is switched around. Okay, so this is very important. And when do we apply this is when you add or subtract 2 angles together. So especially when you guys look at your unit circle, you guys have a unit circle. You find out that we only concentrate on pi over 3, pi over 4, and pi over 6 in your unit circle, right? So what happens now with the addition and subtraction formulas here, you can actually do pi over 12. Which in this case is 15 degrees. Okay, so pi over 12 is 15 degrees. So actually not, and then anything with multiples of 15, like 15, 30, 45, 45, 60, 75, 90. So if increments of 15, they all will be pi over 12. So this pi over 12 is where the sum and difference formula is used for. Okay, so I'm gonna do the first question, then you guys have to do your homework. Because I'm not doing your homework now, and because your test is not too good. Yep, mostly a lot of you did not do well in the test, so there will be some rule change in here. Is I'm not gonna do any more of your homework anymore. I will be doing just this on your notes, because if I do your homework, you guess what? I'm not doing your test, so you have to do your homework, and only if I have some questions I will do, but I'm not doing every single one questions in your homework. So on next, when next week starts, next week don't have class, but I will not go over any homework questions. So I will go over it if we have like a lot of you asking me. So so starting from today's, I am not going over some homework questions. And also starting from today, you guys have extra homework for me. Yes. I will show you what is the extra homework. So first question is asking us to use this sine 7 pi over 6 minus pi over 3. So we will be using the addition and subtraction formula for this case. So we'll be using sine. So in this case, if you look at this 7 pi over 6, this is u, and the pi over 3 will be v. So if you use the formula says that sine u minus v is sine u cosine v, and then the minus will still remain as minus, and then you just swap the sine and cosine around. So you got cosine u and sine v. Now what you need to do here is you need to replace your u and v. So your u in this case will be replaced by 7 pi over 6. So this will be replaced by 7 pi over 6. And then the v will be replaced by pi over 3. So that's how you apply this formula. You just need to apply. You just need to put in your u and v in there. And next, what you need to do is you have to use your unit circle. So, yep, as you can tell that unit circle is used again in this case. So we will not, again class, this time your unit circle I will not provide it in your test anymore. So that means you have to tell me what is sine 7 pi over 6. Can someone tell me what is sine 7 pi over 6 is?
-1/2.
So 7 pi over 6 is over here. Sine is your y, -1/2. And so this is -1/2. And what is cosine 7 pi over 6? Which should be this one, -√3/2. I put this in parentheses because you have to multiply first before you subtract. So make sure you know your orders of operation. Next, we have to figure out what is cosine pi over 3. So pi over 3 is over here, which is 60 degrees. Cosine, what is cosine of it?
1/2.
1/2. And what is sine of it?
√3/2.
Yep. And then you have to subtract this. And then orders of operation, you multiply this. How do you multiply? Straight across. This is -1/4. And minus, multiply this straight across, you will get another negative, because when you multiply this, it becomes negative. √3 times √3 become 3, and this is 4. And these two negatives will become plus. So -1/4 plus 3/4. Your answer in this case is 1/2. You guys know how to do this? Because I do the work, right? You guys just watch. So in the test, you're gonna do this question for me. So I want you guys to do this question. So I'm gonna break you guys into groups. And the question is number 7A. So please, everyone, copy down the question 7A. Because you're going to be in a group. Copy down 7A, which is sine 4/3. Wait, if I can copy this. And I'm going to paste it in the chat room so you guys can see that in your chat room when you go on to the... Nope, doesn't let me copy and paste it. So please write question 7A. And I want you guys to do the work here. Break it down into groups. Let's do 4 of you. 5. I got 20 some seconds. I will give it to you. I'll put in there So your questions in this case, yep, Bao, you will get it. I'll put it in the chat room here. So your question in this case is you have to do sine of, what is that? 43 pi over 6 minus, what's the other one? 31 pi over 3. Alex, Adam, go to your room. Matthew, go to your room. Matthew? Matthew, are you there? Okay. Do you guys got any questions? You guys got a question, right? So room 1? Room 1, you got my questions?
What was the question?
It's in your chat room.
It hasn't popped up in the chat for me.
I wrote it down.
All right.
Okay.
Sine 43 pi over 6 minus 31 pi over 3. Henry, do you got that?
I do. Thank you.
Yep. Share it with your, and you have to try to do this. Do you guys manage to get the questions for first question?
Yep.
It's in the chat room, right? Just click chat and you'll see the question next. Yep. You guys have to talk about it and you have to let me know.
Okay.
You got 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, I just saw it. Yep.
You guys have any questions for me?
Not at the moment. I'm still working on it.
Okay. Any questions for me? You guys have to talk and how to do this. Yep. So starting from this onwards, it's good. We have to do a breakout room and you guys have to do some work. Yep. Questions? You got till like you got 3 more minutes and see how much you guys can do. And you guys have to present it after that.
So how far have you guys gotten in it?
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah. So it was cosine of not cosine on
It's
the
sine.
it was yeah, sine, but so where it was 31 pi, was it over 3 or over 6?
Over 3.
Oh, okay.
So it's 43 pi over 6.
Yes.
And then 31 pi over 3.
Okay, so I initially put over 6.
Yep. So one is over 6 and one is over 3.
Okay.
I think it's in your chat room, right?
Yeah, that's what I'd initially written it down
Yep.
wrong.
Don't read that wrong.
Yeah.
So I'll be back.
Wait. So for when you find the sine of 43 pi over 6 and cosine of the other one, how do you know if it's going to be positive or negative?
Unit circle. Take out your unit circle. That I can tell you.
I mean, I did that, but I don't really get
Do you
it.
know where is 43 pi over 6 at in the unit circle?
Oh, is it with this? No, I don't know.
It's more than one revolution.
Yeah.
So you had to figure out where was it at.
Okay.
Yep. Very quiet on this room. You guys know how to do this question?
Yeah, I think we.
Yeah, I got negative 1/2 for like answer.
I got 1/2 for mine.
So talk among yourself. Why is 1/2? One is, I mean, the answer is definitely two different answers.
Oh, that is true.
So it should be the same. So talk among yourself. You got 1 minute.
Oh wait, when we're like done, do you get like an invite back into?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's my first time doing breakout.
yep.
So.
You will be. Don't log out. I will invite you back. Yep.
Okay.
Come back to the first main room here. Everyone, you got 29, 28 seconds. So yep, starting from this onward, you guys will be put in the breakout room like this, and you will be asking to do questions. So that's the reason why that you guys have to do that. Make sure you guys this is what you guys got. So so a few more seconds left while the rest of the group will bounce back to here. Yep, they are coming back. All right, so anyone want to tell me how you do this question? Anyone? Share.
What our group did is we found the reference angles for U and V, which were 7 pi over 6 and pi over 3 first.
Okay, very
we
good.
did that by subtracting
Okay,
2
wait,
pi.
wait, wait. This is 7 pi over 6, right?
Yep.
And this one is what?
Pi over 3.
Very good. That is correct. So first thing is, if it's go over more than one revolution, you have to find the reference angle. So you just need to use a unit circle to go keep on going circles. All right, and then
It's basically like the last problem where we found that the sine was equal to negative 1/2, the cosine was 1/2, and then minus negative root 3 over 2 times root 3 over 2, and then We found
So
that
this
is equal.
one will give you -1/2. And then cosine will give you -1/2. No, yeah,
For-
-1/2.
yeah.
Is that right?
For
No, it's a positive 1/2.
It's
Yeah, it's
positive
positive
1/2.
1/2.
Sorry about that. Okay. What sign should we use here? Minus or plus?
minus
Minus, same as this. And then what you get for the next one?
-√3/2,
And Alex,
√3/2,
and positive √3/2.
and then that gives us a final answer of 1/2.
1/2. You guys okay? All right. Now, the other questions we're going to talk about here is, yes, that's correct. The other question we talk about is this one. So this one is usually part B. Okay. If you have such things like this, that is no formula. That means you cannot use this. It's because the addition is not inside the parentheses. So this one, you just need to do as usual using your unit circle approach. What is cosine 120 is? So if you use your unit circle approach, cosine of 120 degrees, 120 is this one. Cosine is your x value. So your cosine 120 is -1/2. Plus a cosine 45. 45 is a square root of 2/2. And then what you do here is you just add them because they are same denominator. So you just put 2. You cannot add this, the top one, because one is a square root, one is a number. So your answer in this case is √2 - 1/2. So this is how we do if you have a plus sign separated. You cannot use that formula. You just need to just do it individually. So I am going to call you guys to do question B, which is exactly the same as question A, but it's been separated. You guys see that? So copy down the question B. Yep. And I will post this in your chat room again. And then I will give you guys some. So this is in the chat room now. I will give you again. I am going to. This is easier. So actually, so I'm going to do out the breakout room again. All right. Go ahead and join the breakout room and try to do question B. Nick? Questions you guys have for this question? This is a bit easier than the first question. You guys have to talk. You guys are very quiet here. Good one.
Is it still just, I gotta find the reference points or whatever that term was, and just how
Reference
many
angle.
revolutions? Yeah.
Which is the same as we just did
Yep.
in part A.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys get? I got -3 -1/2.
Yeah, I got -1/2 minus square root of 3/2.
I think I got the same thing as you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, yep. Sorry, Sally. I know you've been in and out. You can actually have you got like 43 seconds if you haven't done.
No, it's just that nobody's really talking in that room. So
So that means no one. Okay. I will look at
I
Sally.
came up with the answer, but there's no communication.
You should, yep. I will go to your room next time or next while, and I will talk to. So it will be Anika, Hannah, and Marcella will be the one that. Because some group is quiet and some groups talking. This one is a bit easy. Yep, some people just chat. Yeah, some people have put in a chat thingy so they don't talk. So maybe you can look at the chat room stuff. All right, so anyone know how to do this question? So this is what I'm going to try to teach you guys now is I want you guys to do the work now because I do not want to do all the work for you. And then in the test, that's what happens in the test. I found out that because I do the work for you, you guys end up, oh, they will do the work. And then in the test, you have to do the work. So anyone know how to do question B here? Someone mentioned about reference angle. So yep, this is 6, not 3. This is 3, not 6. Someone talk about reference angle. Yes, you do need to figure out your reference angle again. And this reference angle is the same thing as what? 7 pi over 6. And this reference angle is the same as pi over 3. So if you have your unit circle approach with you, unit circle, what is sine 7 pi over 6? That is what?
It's a -1/2, right?
-1/2, Nick, that's correct. Minus, and what is sine, not cosine, sine of pi over 3?
Is that √3/2? Or no?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Sine, is that right? Sine pi over 3. Yeah, sorry, you're correct. √3/2.
Okay.
You are correct. Sorry about that. You are correct. So now what you do is you combine them because they have the same 2 in your denominator. And what you have on top is what?
square.
Negative.
Yep. Square 3 -1.
Don't forget the negative. So you can put -1 minus √3/2, or you can do the other way, which is what? This is correct. You guys all right here? Next, you guys have to do cosine. Now, when you do the cosine, the formula for cosine is going to be cos u plus v is cos minus sine. This cos u minus v is cos plus sine. Okay. So for example, in this case is if I have this question, number 3, and I want to find the sine, cosine, let's say, this is cosine. Cosine 17 pi over 12, which is the same thing as 9 pi over 4 minus 5 pi over 6. So in order for you to use the cosine for this, you will do cos. So this is my u, this is my v. So cos 9 pi over 4, cos 5 pi over 6. Now I want to point out to you guys, I have a lot of students in the test, so pay attention here. Because this is a minus, they put a minus sign here, okay? Do not do that, it is wrong. Let me repeat again. There is a minus sign here. I got students put minus, oh, minus sign. So I put a minus sign on the 5 pi over 6. That is wrong. Do not do that. This minus sign will actually bring him to become a plus sign. That means treat all your u and v here as positive. You guys with me here? Although you have a minus sign in there, don't look at it. Okay, so it's cos, cos, sine, sine. So it's sine 9 pi over 4 and sine 5 pi over 6. Now 5 pi over 6 is already your reference angle because that is, you didn't go more than 1 unit circle. Can someone tell me what is a reference angle for 9 pi over 4? Look at your unit circle and you can tell. So you calculate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pi over 4 is the same thing as what? Pi over 4. You guys with me? So this is how you use your unit circle to calculate your reference angle, is you go more than that. So what you need to do next is to figure out what is cosine. This is again pi over 4. What is cosine pi over 4 in this case? It is square root of 2 over 2. And then cosine 5 pi over 6. So 5 pi over 6 is 150. Cosine is your x value. So this is actually is negative root 3 over 2. Don't forget, it's a plus. Sine pi over 4. Sine pi over 4 is also root 2 over 2. And sine 5 pi over 6, which is your y value now for pi sine, so it's 1/2. So again, class, leave your answer all in fractions and in square root. Don't use your calculators. So if you multiply this, this is over 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. This is negative square root of 6 because 2 times 3 is 6. This one is also 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Root 2 times 1 is root 2. And then because they are the same, so this is 4. So your answer in this case is root 2 minus root 6. Now you cannot subtract root 2 minus root 6 becomes negative root 4. You cannot do that because this is not the same radicand. So this is your answer for question for this question, how to use your cosine. You guys with me? So again, unit circle is needed. That's why, and can you use this now in your test? In your second test and your third test? The answer is no. So in your second and your third test, you actually have to literally build this on your own. Okay, so it means it's not in your test given to you. So I want you guys to do this question now for your for question 8. Don't forget this is degree now. So everyone write down this question A. Cosine 120 plus 45 degrees. Cosine 120 degrees plus 45 degrees. You guys all copy question 8A? Because you guys are going to put in groups again. You guys got the questions? And yes, I will be going to your room and I will check it. Maybe I break it, move you guys somewhere else. Yep, go try that. Very quiet here. You guys got the questions?
No, I'm good.
You guys got a question, right? It's cosine 120 plus 45. That one is easy, should be. So quiet here. You guys have to talk something. I'll be back. You guys got questions?
Um,
Cosine 120 plus 45 degrees, right? Yep. You guys have to talk.
cosine.
You guys talking here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So for Masala, you have to talk, chat. You have to type in the chat room. It's fine.
Two together first.
No, I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah, you don't
Okay.
add the two together first.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Do not add those two together because you get 165 and 165 is not 30, 45, 60.
Yeah, I did on accident right away.
Yep.
Then I
So
just
that's the
saw
reason
that
why
it looked wrong for some reason.
Yep. So that's why they give you the 120 plus 45. Yep. Because 120 is reference to 30, 45, 60, same 45. Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Try to do those.
So what I did, I just found the cosine of both of those angles. So I got -1/2 plus the square root of 2/2, and that's how I got my answer.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Yeah, then you have to subtract the sine of both of them.
Yeah.
So it'd be cosine of 120 times the cosine of 45 minus the sine of.
Anyone talking here?
We're talking in the chat.
Don't talk in the chat. It's easier. Talk if you want to, but it's easier to talk right here. Okay. Yep. You guys make sure I'm gonna ask Henry to do this question for me. I'm gonna put a little bit of someone else have to do the work. I'll be back. Any questions, anyone? Looks like you guys quiet. You guys done?
Yeah, I think I didn't know how to get it, but I think they got it. I think Alex got it. I didn't get the right answer.
I know, but make sure you guys, the whole group, knows how Alex might have to explain to you guys how to do that.
I think I got two different answers now, but
You should have one answer.
yeah, I know. I got the first answer I got was the negative square root 6 minus square root of 2/4. But then the second time I did it was square root of 6 minus 2 square root 2/8.
It looks no, it's not gonna be over 8.
Okay, so it was the first one then, right?
It looks like the same thing, very similar to the one that we did in class. I think is some √2 minus √6/4, something like that.
Yeah, it's.
Yep.
I got the -1/2 times √2/2 minus √3/2, and then.
Okay, we'll do it together
Okay.
when we got back to that. Yep, I'm gonna stop. Yep. Where's the rest of them coming in? Okay. So for this question, Alex and Henry, you two have to combine to do this question. So Yep, I'm start putting people out and tell me. So how do we do cosine 120 plus 45 degrees? Henry and Alex is the two person that I select. You can, yep. Henry, Alex.
So 120 is 2 pi over 3.
First, tell me what you get first when you use your formula.
Cosine u cosine v minus
Okay, where's u and where's v here?
2 pi over 3.
Okay, I'll take your radian. Yep, you can put in radian form if you want to.
Are we supposed to use it in decimal or?
It can be degree, it can be radian, up to you. I'm not picky. It's I think 2 pi over 3 is 120, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter with me. If you give me degree, give me radian, I'm fine with it. And what you do, cosine what?
Pi over 4.
Which is the same as 45 degrees.
45.
Yep. What sign should we put here? This is the most important thing.
Minus.
Minus. Followed by what?
Sine 2 pi over 3, which is 120. Then sine pi over 4.
Yep. Again, in the test, I doesn't care if it's a 120 or 45 or you put in radian form. Doesn't matter with me as long as you get this correct. So, Alex, what is cosine 2 pi over 3 is?
-1/2.
And what is cosine pi over 4?
√2/2.
Okay. Minus sine 2 pi over 3, Alex?
√3/2.
√3/2. And the last one
is √2/2 again.
Yep. So multiply this. So Henry, what you get when you multiply this? The first one.
I don't know. I got a really weird number.
Yeah. Again, don't give me decimals. Use so 2 times 2 is 4 in the denominator. What is on top?
Negative square root of 2.
Yep. And Alex, what you get on the other side?
I'm still doing it. Hold up.
It's still 4 on the bottom.
Would you get √6 on the top?
Yep. And then you subtract them. Because they have the same denominator, so this is all over 4. So what is your answer in this case?
-√6 minus √2.
Yep. Doesn't matter if you're gonna put 2 first and then the 6 or the 6 and the 2. I think your online hole is also not that picky. This is correct. You guys got it? Can you do this in my test? Because your first test 2, the first question will be very similar to this one. Okay, so
oh, sorry, I have a question.
Yes, Anika.
So you can multiply the radicals, but you can't like subtract them, basically.
They are not the same, so we cannot subtract this.
Okay.
You can only subtract this if they are the same. Then you can add or subtract this. What's √3 plus √3?
Three.
We're adding, not multiplying. Where's x plus x?
2x.
And where's √3 times plus √3?
6. So rad 6.
Anyone?
2√3.
2√3. Just add your numbers. Like x, right? You add the front numbers. It's the same thing. These are all basic stuff. So I don't know how you guys can get into my class without knowing this. This is very, very basic material. All right, next we're going to talk about here is tangent. So in order for you to use the tangent, it's going to be icky because it's going to be u plus minus v, and then you got 2. You had to do both of this. Okay. So in this case, that we're going to do a tangent for this case. So we're going to do tangent. The same thing, 9 pi over 4 minus 5 pi over 6. So in order for us to use the same thing, but this time we use tangent. So in order for us to use tangent, so your formula is tan u This is again U. This is V. So the formula says that we're going to use tangent U. So tangent 9 pi over 4 minus, because the minus, you do minus, tangent 5 pi over 6 over by 1 plus, because you have a minus, this is a plus, and then you take this 2 and multiply that, tangent 9 pi over 4 and tangent 5 pi over 6. Okay, so this is how we apply the tangent U plus or minus V into this formula. What you need to do next is, again, find the reference angle. We know the 9 pi over 4, the reference angle is pi over 4. Okay, so can someone tell me, using the unit circle, what is tangent pi over 4?
1.
1, because again, pi over 4 is root 2 over 2, but tangent is y over x. So the tangent 9 pi over 4 will give us exactly 1. How about tangent 5 pi over 6? 5 pi over 6 is this one. You have to take y over x because tangent is y over x. So you
Negative root 3 over 3.
So this is negative root 3 over 3. Over by 1 plus tangent 9 pi over 4 is 1 that you found early on the first one. And tangent 5 pi over 6 is the negative root 3 over 3. Now, just want to point out to you here is because this negative root 3 over 3 is the tangent 5 pi over 4, but you still have your negative sign here. You guys see that? So this will give us a plus. So this is 1 plus root 3 over 3. Because the two, this negative and this will give me another negative, will become positive. 1, this one is a minus, and this will become root 3 over 3. Because 1 times this will give you negative. So what you do next here is to reduce. How do we reduce this? Is you multiply the top and bottom by the LCD. And the LCD in this case is 3. So you multiply this, everything here by 3. So what you get here is 3 plus root 3. Because this 3 will cancel with this 3. So you got 3 plus root 3. This you will get 3 minus root 3. So this is your answer for this case, for tangent case. So for your homework, I want you guys to do this tangent 105. This is your homework here, your classwork. Tangent 105 degrees. Tangent 105 degrees is actually, you can use 60 and 45. That's what they call you to do. So when you look at your homework here, this is very similar to your test. They say 105, we use 60 and 45. That's how you get 105. So please copy this question down. I want you to do tangent 60 degrees plus 45 degrees using your tangent formula, and you're going to put them in a group. Yep.
Where are we going to put that?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the answer. This is the one that you're looking for. Because
okay.
Yep, this is tangent 105, which is the same thing as 60 and 45. 10 part 3. All right, so I'm going to put them in your group again. Tangent 60 and 45. Samsung, go join your group. Sometime. Join your group. Questions?
So you want us to do all three, right? Not just that
No,
tangent?
just tangent.
Oh, just a tangent.
Just
Okay.
Just tangent. Because you know you did sine cosine already, so now I want you to practice using tangent.
When
Just
we convert the 60 degrees into like radians, it's just the formula is y over x, right?
Yeah, you can convert 60 degrees to radian or use degree is fine. Make sure you have the unit circle to accompany with you.
Okay.
Right, I'll be back. New one, so quiet here, yeah.
Yeah, we're good, I think.
You're good. Again, you'll need to do tangent.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get the top and the bottom simplified, do we have to multiply by the conjugate?
No. Don't do that because it's gonna be a lot of work. So in the test, you do not need to rationalize it.
Okay.
Because then you multiply 3 plus. You can, but no, don't do that. Just leave it like root 3 in the denominator.
Okay.
Okay, we figured that out.
Yep. Don't do too. I mean, you can, but just
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. In this test, I'm not testing about conjugate and rationalizing. I'm testing you how to use the
formula.
The formula.
Mm-hmm. Yes, okay.
That's the one that I want to look at. Right. I'll go on to the next class. I'll be back. Questions?
No.
You guys good? Don't forget, these are all going to be in your second. This is why that I'm not doing the work. So you guys got the feel of doing the test right now. So, Kun, are you okay? Kun Sok?
Yeah.
Hannah, Anika?
Yeah.
You have to, don't own me because this is what your test 2 looks like.
Yeah.
I don't do well on the test regardless because I can't remember formulas. It just doesn't happen for me.
So unfortunately, you have to, that will be these formulas. You have to know how to use them. That's why I put you guys to group and you guys have to work things out here. Right? Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what's going on. Even there's more calculus, if you're going to calculus, even more formulas. Even difficult.
I can work with formulas. I just have like a brain injury, so I can't remember them. So it just doesn't work for me.
Put them in index card and then, that's another way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Masala said that she figured it out. So, yep, maybe she can share. I'm gonna go to the last room here. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just square root 3 plus 1 over 1 minus square root 3.
That looks good. Who did say that? Patterson?
That was Matthew.
That was me.
Yeah.
Patterson say that? Oh,
Matthew.
Matthew. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. So Matt, you will be doing this question. I'm gonna find out.
Oh yeah.
Right. Looks good. Looks nice actually. Adam, make sure you make sure you know how to do this. Again, this is what your test 2 looks like. The first few questions will be this one. Okay. All right. I'll give you 60 minutes. Okay. Just leave the breakout room here and I will see you guys in a minute. What do you guys think about this? Give you guys do a little bit of work so you guys know what your test looks like. You gotta hang on to it, talk to your students. You don't have any questions with this? Right. So Matthew is the one that's supposed to do the work for me. I'm gonna pick another person. You have like a minute left with that. Okay, I think everyone's back. So Matthew gonna help. Which Matthew is that? Is that Matthew T or Matthew I?
T.
Matthew T. Thank you. I got two Matts here. So Matthew T will help me with this question. Tangent 105, which is the same thing as tangent 60 plus 45. Tangent plus 45. So this is a common mistake students do here is they distribute. You get tangent 60 plus tangent 45. If you do this, you get 0 in your test. You guys with me here? Do not distribute this. You get all wrong. Okay, you get 0 in the test. All right, Matt T, right? Matthew T, yep. Can you tell me what you do here?
Tangent of 60, which is square root 3, plus the tangent of 45, which is 1, over 1 minus tangent of 60, which is square root 3, times tangent 45, which is 1.
So what you left in this case is square root of 3 plus 1.
Over 1 minus square root 3.
Yep, this is your answer. And you do not need to do any work at all. Some students ask me about, David, do I need to rationalize this by multiply by its conjugate and so on, so on, so on? My answer is no, because same thing in your test, you do not need to do that. The reason why is because in this test, I'm not testing you how to rationalize the denominator. I'm just testing you how you use the formula. Okay, it's attendance time, so make sure that you guys do attendance here. This is your answer for question number 10, just the 10 piece. All right, now the next thing I want to point out to you guys here is that your formula does not just go one direction. So last time what we did here is we take the u plus v and make it become sine or cosine, this one, right? So actually this formula can go backwards. Backwards means that it can go, if you see sine, cosine, sine, it's the same thing as sine u plus v. So what I'm talking about here is like question like number 4. Okay, so if you look at question number 4 here, it's cos, sine. So which trigonometric that we use here, sine or cosine or tangent for this case?
Cosine.
Yep.
Cosine.
So this, yep. You guys good? So this is cosine of what? Your u,
Pi over 7.
Pi over 7. And what is your v in this case?
Pi over 5.
Pi over 5. And we need to add or minus here.
Add.
Add, yes, that's correct. You have to add this because when you have cosine, your sign change. Does anyone know what is pi over 7 plus pi over 5? If you have your calculator, you can use your ABC. 1 ABC 7 plus 1 ABC 5. What you guys got? This is all fraction.
12 pi over 35.
12 pi over 35. Thank you so much. And this is your answer. You guys with me here? Now, what is the difference between question 4, 5, 6 and question 7 and 8? Is 4, 5, 6, they want you to simplify. So this is what we call a simplified expression. But number 7 and 8, they want you to find the exact value. So let's do question 7 and you'll see the difference. So can someone tell me which trigonometric function for number 7? Sine, cosine, or tangent?
Sine.
So this is sine. Yep, I didn't finish. Right. So this is sine what? What's your U and what's your V? Hmm? What's your U and what's your V? Your U is
pi over
Pi o-
12,
pi over 12, and your V is,
pi over 4.
should we add or should we subtract here?
Add.
Add, because if you use sign, the sign is the same. If it's positive, you use positive. If it's minus, it's minus. Can someone use a calculator and figure out what is pi over 12 plus pi over 4?
Pi over 3.
Yes, pi over 3. Now, what is the difference between the top question called to simplify and this one is because sine pi over 3, when they ask you for exact value, you can use unit circle here. Can someone tell me using the unit circle what is sine pi over 3 is?
Root 3 over 2.
Yep. So this is the meaning of when they ask you for exact answer. Exact value is where you have to give me the exact value in this case. Okay, where you have to use your unit circle to do that. Questions, anyone? Okay. Next, number 9. So you have to use a trigonometric functions. This is also in your test too. Given us that sine u in this case is -7 over 25, and cosine v in this case is -4 over 5. And both of these u and v are in quadrant 3. Can someone tell me what quadrant 3 looks like in your triangle? Because this is in your test, right? Quadrant 3. What happens to your opposite and what happens to your adjacent and what happens to your hypotenuse? So can someone tell me how you figure out the u first?
Arcsine.
So how you can do -7 over 25? Where should we put -7 and where should we put 25?
The hypotenuse can't be negative, right? So
yep, you're correct.
25 and then -7.
Enrique, you're correct. Hypotenuse is always positive. That's 25. And where you put -7 at? Opposite, right? Because sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Can someone figure out what is adjacent here? If you know your triplets, you should know this answer. 7, 25. If you doesn't know your triplets, you have to use a Pythagorean theorem. Anyone know a triplet for 7 something 25? No one know this? Triplets? 7,
24.
24, 25. And if you give me 24, it's still considered wrong. Anyone can tell me why this is wrong?
Cosine is negative.
Because this is a negative, yes. Can you apply the cosine v -4, 5 into this triangle? This is what you guys did in chapter 6.
5 is the hypotenuse.
Mm-hmm.
And then -4 is the top.
Mm-hmm. So what's on the side? The opposite.
-3.
Very good. So now with this, you can figure out question A. Cosine u plus v. And can someone tell me what is the formula for cosine u plus v is? Cosine u, cosine v, cosine is cos, sine, sine u and sine v. Can someone tell me, should we use addition or should we use subtraction in the middle?
Subtraction.
Subtraction, right, correct. So next, you have to use the triangle, u for this one, v for this one. So if you look at the triangle for cosine, for u, can someone tell me cosine is what over what using SOHCAHTOA in this case?
Negative 24 over 25.
Very good. Cosine V. So for cosine V, you look at the V triangle. Can you figure out what is cosine for this case? Negative 4 over 5, right? Minus. Now you do the same thing for sine U. So look at this triangle and figure out what is sine U in this case.
Negative 7 over 25.
And also look at the second triangle, the V triangle, and figure out what is sine V in this case.
Negative 3 over 5.
Yep, very good. Now again, orders of operation, you have to multiply first. So you have to take these two and multiply. We know 2 negative will become positive. 25 times 5 is 125. 24 times 4 is 96. Again, use your calculator. And then we do the same thing for this two. 2 negative will become positive. 25 times 5 is 125. And 7 times 3 is 21. But don't forget, in the middle, you still have what sign? You still have a minus. So in this case, since the denominator is the same, 125, so what you need to do is just subtract 96 and 21 out. What do you get when you subtract these two out? You will end up with 75. And you reduce this. So you guys know how to reduce this using your calculator? You just use ABC. So you press 75, ABC 125, and then you press equal, and it will give you the reduced one. Anyone got an answer here?
3/5. 3/5.
3/5, yep, that's your answer. So mostly when you guys do this kind of questions, they want you to build these two triangles based on your SOHCAHTOA one that you learned in chapter 6. And then after that, you use the U plus V or U minus V to do your sine, cosine, tangent. Questions with this one? Anyone have any questions? All right, next we'll do some algebra expression in this case. So this one is a little bit tough. So what you do here is you will let U to become arc cosine of X, and you will let V to become the arc sine of X. So what you do here is you do the same thing like number 9. You have to draw two triangles. So I move this. So cosine U in this case is X, and I move over there is sine V in this case is X. So now you have to draw two triangles. One is for U and one is for V. So this in this section, when you do your homework, you have to draw if you have U and V, you have to draw two triangles. Now this X is over 1. So that means that your for cosine is your adjacent is X, your hypotenuse is 1. Okay. As for sine, the opposite is X, your hypotenuse is 1. So what you need to figure out is for U, you need to figure out your adjacent, your opposite, and for V, you have to figure out your adjacent. So how do you figure out this? Is you use Pythagorean theorem. So A squared, which is X squared, plus B squared, which we do not know, equals to C squared, your hypotenuse, 1 squared. So in this case, that B squared in this case is 1 over X squared. So B in this case will be square root of 1 minus X squared. And this also is the same as 1 square of 1 minus X squared, because your A is X squared, your B is this kind of the same spot that you guys did in here. So once you get into this, then you can transform this equation to become cosine U plus V. Because your arc cosine X is U and your arc sine is V. So, and then we can use this triangle to help you with this. So this is cos u, cos v, minus sine u, sine v. And what you do here is look at your triangle to figure out what is this value is. So what is cosine u? Cosine u is just x, or x over 1, if you put it that way. Cosine v is this one, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, square root of 1 minus x squared, minus sine u is opposite over hypotenuse, so it's going to be square root of 1 minus x squared. And sine v is sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which is x. So you notice that these two are exactly the same, and one is positive and one is negative. So what is this going to give it to you, class, when you simplify these two up?
0.
0, yep. So your answer in this case will be 0. So this kind of questions is your calculus 1 question, where you have to assign 2 variables like this to do your work. And so next time when you see what is cosine of x, cosine x plus sine x, your answer is always 0 in this case. We have proving identities here. So when you prove identities, I will recommend you to use the addition or the subtraction to prove the other side. Okay. So for example is if you do question 12, which is this question, and I'm going to use the left-hand side, which is this one. Can someone tell me what formula is for cosine u minus v? You did this before.
Cosine u.
And what's u in this case?
5 pi over 4.
And what is cosine? Then after cosine what?
X.
Okay. Minus or plus?
Plus.
Followed by what?
Sine 5 pi over 4 sine x.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So then you use your unit circle, figure out what is cosine 5 pi over 4. What is cosine 5 pi over 4? This is 5 pi over 4. What's cosine of it? Square root of negative square root of 2 over 2. And can someone tell me what is sine 5 pi over 4? So again, 5 pi over 4, sine is still what? Negative root 2 over 2. So this one will have to multiply with cosine x. And this one had to multiply by sine x. So what do you notice about the one that you need to prove here is they are very similar to this, the right-hand side. So anyone know what to do when you get this to get into the right-hand side here? What you have to do?
Factor out the 2 over 2.
Very good. So you just need to factor out negative 2 over root 2 over 2. So what you get is cosine x plus sine x. And this is the same thing as your right-hand side. So again, the proving here is not as difficult as the one that you have, because you can tell for this section, your proving is all going to be using the cos sine sine or sine cos sine tangent one. So make sure you guys know how to prove the identity. Same thing with this. You can also solve the equations. Again, when you solve the equation, you can use cosine x cosine pi over 4 minus sine x sine pi over 4, and then you do the same thing here, cos x cos pi over 4 plus sine x sine over 4 pi over 4, and then you find out that when you expand this into cos sine sine, there are some terms you can cancel because some of them are addition, some of them are subtraction, and then you end up to be a very simple type. So I would recommend you guys to practice this. This is something that you guys need to do. You have to practice this. Try to do this on your own. So your homework for this week, this Wednesday, not tomorrow, but this coming Wednesday, which is the spring break, is to do 7.4. So make sure you guys know how to do this. This is very important. The first few one is asking you to type in the formula. Can someone type in this formula? Sine u minus v. Anyone know what's a sine u minus v formula is?
Sine u times cosine v minus cosine u times sine v.
Yeah, faster than I type. So cosine u cosine v minus cosine u times sine v. So this is what you do. Don't put too many parentheses. Only one is good. So this is how you do this. So the first six, I think the first few questions is just asking you for formulas. So like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're all, this 6 is all asking for formulas. So make sure you type in the correct formulas that is in the you know, that you use. And the rest is mostly you just need to figure out using that, applying that formula. So some of them go backwards, like this one. If you see a lot of sine and cosine or cosine and sine, they go the other way around. Same thing with tangent here. Then when you use that, remember the two triangles where you draw one is u, one is v, and then you use that triplets. This is like this kind of questions like 21, where you see they give you sine and cosine, u and v, and then they give you this and this. Can someone tell me what quadrant is this belongs to?
4.
4, very good. And this?
1.
1, yes, that's correct. So when you do the quadrant 4 triangle, your quadrant 4 triangle will look something like this. This is quadrant 4 triangle, where this is plus, this is minus. And then for quadrant 1, for everything is positive. Okay. So make sure you read the question carefully when you do your homework, and they will tell you what quadrant it belongs to. This one is the same thing we did, where both of them in quadrant 3. And then the rest is verifying, and then you have to solve some equations. So try to do this homework. If you have any questions, please ask me. As I told you that starting from today's onwards, we will not do a lot of homework questions. We will do it. I will probably spend like 5-10 minutes next to go over your homework questions. I won't go through a lot of questions. I'm going to push this homework. I'm going to push it back a little bit for you guys, so you will not do it on your spring break. I'll do it on the week after spring break. So that means that you got 2 weeks to do your homework here. So this homework 7.4 is due on the following week. Sorry.
So do we have class next week then?
No, we don't have class next week.
Okay. Also, so you said that you won't give us the unit circle on the next test, but will
Nope.
we still be allowed to print
Draw
out
your
our
own.
own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You draw your own. So your 7.4 homework is not due next week during spring break. It's due the following Wednesday. So that means your 7.4 homework, you got 2 weeks to do it. Okay. Anyone have any questions for me before we end our Zoom session here?